Welcome to Weekly Cheats. I'm Aaron. After a week of eating clean, it's time for something sweet. Today, we're gonna be making ice cream, and it's gonna be toasted coconut with dark chocolate chunks and marshmallow cream with a vanilla base. But first, most important thing is to wipe down our countertop so that we have a clean surface to work with. First thing that we wanna do before we actually start making anything is fill up the bucket with water so that it can expand and fill in the cracks so that when we have ice in there and we're actually mixing stuff, it won't leak all over on us. For the coconut, we don't really need anything. It has enough oil in it that you don't need to grease the pan or anything. I like sweetened coconut. The brand doesn't really matter. I just get the store brand. That's usually what's available. One thing before you start toasting coconut though, open up the windows so you can get some ventilation in your kitchen because it smokes, it's pretty smoky. If you've never toasted coconut before, it's not that difficult. You just gotta make sure that you move it around so that it doesn't burn on any one spot. All right, so it's taking about 3-4 minutes roughly for the coconut to heat up enough. And now that it's starting to brown, you'll see it start to go a bit quicker. All right, so now we've got our coconut toasted. We can put that in a bowl so that it doesn't continue to cook in the pan. All right, the next thing we need to do is chop up some chocolate. I like to just have a huge bar of Calibre. This is my favorite one. It's dark, technically dark. As you can see, it's 54% cacao, so it's not really that dark. It's basically semi-sweet. I find with this chocolate, if you cut too close to the edge, like right on the edge, it just shaves off in little tiny pieces that are more like this dust that you get than the actual chunk. So I like to kind of get a good chunk here and then just kind of rock it back and forth as it cuts through. And then we can work with these pieces, cutting them up a little bit more. So as you can see, we've got some small pieces and some big pieces here. These will mix in, give us some nice texture. For comparison, in my hand, nothing too crazy, but we've got some good chunks to mix in. All right, for this recipe for ice cream, the base is pretty simple. 5 whole eggs, 2 cups of sugar, and a teaspoon of salt, which I've already thrown on top there. And then it'll be 3 tablespoons of vanilla. I prefer Watkins vanilla to pretty much any other brand. If you try the difference, you'll see why. We're gonna beat this on basically a medium-low at first to get the eggs to mix in with the sugar, and then we'll slowly add milk to get it to the consistency that we want to make sure that the sugar is dissolving in with the base. Okay, so we've scraped the edges down. As you can see, there's a little bit of foam on top. It's about all we want. You're gonna add 1 7-ounce cup, whatever you wanna call it, of the marshmallow cream. And again, it's gonna be really, really chunky in there because this will not actually blend in, but that's okay. We're not really looking to get it to completely dissolve in. We just wanna get it to not be one giant mass that we throw in. We're gonna go and pour this into the canister. All of it just goes straight in. Next, toasted coconut from earlier, just put it straight in. This was roughly 2/3 of the package, so not an entire package. The nice thing about this recipe is once you've got everything in the canister and it's ready and it's mixing, there's really nothing else you need to do but wait. You don't have to do anything after it's done but serve it up. Next thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna use our Costco 40% cream and fill it up to just about halfway through, about the top of the 3rd ring from the top. That way it still has room to expand. With how many mix-ins we have here, we're actually okay to go just slightly above that. Next thing we need to do is drain all the water out of the bucket. All right, as you can see, this is the ice that my freezer produces. It's garbage, it's hollow. The water pressure in my fridge and freezer is not good. So this isn't really very usable. So what I do is I just have an ice cube tray that I just harvest ice throughout the week. I have 4 trays total. I just got them on Amazon, and harvesting those roughly once a day allows me to be able to make an entire batch once a week if I want it. Biggest thing is the amount of salt that we put in is actually important. We'll fill it up to just under this ring here, And then we'll put a layer of salt all the way around. And we'll fill it up to about this next ring, and we'll do another layer of salt all the way around, and then we'll fill it up all the way to the top. And at that point, I'll go ahead and put one last layer of salt on there, and then we don't need to do any salt if we recover it, but that's about it. Once we turn this on and we're done with the ice and have everything in, it's about 25 minutes to 28 minutes is all it takes. Usually about halfway through that, around minute 12, minute 14, I'll come in and I'll top off the rest of it so that it's all the way up to here, covered with ice, so that way the top of my ice cream isn't all melty. All right, we're done. Took 22 minutes exactly and it shut itself off, so if you have one. The brand that I like is White Mountain. I know I mentioned this in the last video when we did pralines and cream ice cream. White Mountain is, from what I've experienced, the best one so far. And before we actually get into it, we want to drain out whatever water we have in here. There's a notch right here, only on one side, so you can drain the water without having to tip it over completely. It's important to get the water out as soon as you can because it'll be a lot colder in there with just the ice and air. The water kind of raises the temperature a little bit because it's obviously not frozen. And this little bit is just for me, just so I can sample it, you know. It's good. It's good. Marshmallow gives it kind of a nice, like, custardy, thick texture. But like I said earlier, the best thing about this is as soon as it's done, you can just serve it up and eat it. These bowls I got on Amazon, they're double-walled bowls. Remember to put it in the freezer for a couple minutes before you serve it up into it, so the bowl is all nice and cold and it will keep your ice cream cold for you. So there you have it. That's how to make toasted coconut, dark chocolate marshmallow cream ice cream. If you made this recipe, go and take a picture of it and share it on your Instagram story and tag Weekly Cheats. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications for when we post a new video every Thursday. Thanks for watching.